In this first workout, we're going to be going over fundamental movements that really cover a lot of key concepts in Pilates in general, but especially for all of the exercises and all the workouts to come on the Reformer. So make sure that you follow the sequence and you're really paying attention because the concepts will keep coming up as you progress into your series. To begin this workout, let's have a nice flat surface with your Reformer bed. And you want to have your foot bar completely flat so we can actually use that area for our hands or our feet. With the Reformer, you want to secure the bed, so make sure that you have at least 3 springs. So I have 3 red springs on my Reformer. And I'm going to start laying on my back. So coming down to my Reformer bed, I'm going to place my feet here on my platform, carefully lower my body down. And right here, I am laying on my back. So a lot of our fundamental work is actually oriented with us on our back. It's a good place for us to begin. First things first, I want you to pay attention to where your pelvis is in space, even though that you're laying on the mat, and then your spine. Okay, so we're gonna do a couple of positions here just to check in, give you guys this fundamental, and then we'll build from there. So we'll do a couple of movements from this position and I will teach you about neutral spine and neutral pelvis. So let's go ahead and bring our hands here on our pelvis. I've got my hands. I'm just really feeling the hip crest. Now from this position, I'm going to think about tucking my tail towards the sky. So as I do that, I'm imprinting my lower back and I have no space. Now if I go the other direction, I go tail away from the sky. I create space under here, okay? So what we're doing here is a tuck of the pelvis. There's no space. And then an arc of the pelvis, creating space. Your neutral pelvis lives in the middle of those 2 movements. So ideally you want these 2 hip crests, your pubic bone to be in one clean line so that you're not overly tucking nice and tight, or you're not completely arching here and letting go. So a lot of movements on your back, especially in this first class, you're going to be focusing on the pelvis remaining in the neutral position, and we'll talk about that as the exercises come up. The second thing is the spine. So right now my spine is supported by the mat. There are some positions in Pilates where you're going to have neutral pelvis, like I just showed you, but you're also going to have your spine lifted like that. So it's really important to understand that your spine can move in this flex position while you maintain this neutral pelvis, and then you can lower back down. So those are just some key areas to think about before we begin. Is where the pelvis is in space. Are we tucking? Are we arching? Are we neutral? And then also just being aware of the spine and what that part is doing as we go through the exercises. The second part, which I want to talk about briefly, is the breathing. Everyone gets really overwhelmed with the breathing. So in Pilates, there's a lot of lateral breathing with the rib cage going outward. What we can do is draw our hands to the ribs right here. And we just want to think about, as we inhale, we expand the hands going to an outward position. As we exhale, the hands come closer. And they almost knit in with the ribs. So I like to think of this as like a corset, expanding and then contracting gently back in. And it's not supposed to be forced. I want you guys to really move slowly with the breathing. So let's try that today. Let's practice. We're going to inhale, expand. Fully exhale all the air out. Feel the rib cage sinking down and in. So just by doing that, really expressing the rib cage going out and in, we have a better connection with our breath already. And that's going to help our spine stay more neutral. It's going to help us find where our spine is in space just because we're more connected with our breath in general. From here, let's go ahead and reach the arms long. So we will be doing a little bit of bridging. Our feet are connected to the platform. We want to have parallel position with our knees and our toes so that we are just keeping first a neutral pelvis. arms are long. We're going to start with the base of the pelvis. Now, I want you to tuck to the sky with your pubic bone, which means you're imprinting the low back briefly. You're rolling through the spine to come up into your first bridge. So right here at the very top, you want to think about you are tucking. So here we are back at the pelvic position. Think of, instead of dropping, I'll show you real quick, dropping here, I want you to go ahead and push to the sky. And that's going to really help you find more hamstring and more glutes. So that's a fundamental movement in Pilates, rolling that back down. We're going to go ahead and start again from the bottom, releasing back to neutral. Everything's in line on the exhale. Tuck and roll. Holding at the top, breathing in. On the exhale, roll like a wave. We have the upper back first, and then we have the mid back, and we start to roll our spine back through the neutral. So this is also called spinal articulation. There's a lot of movement like this in Pilates. Moving one piece at a time, again, from the bottom, rolling up, exhale. Holding at the top, breathing in. And then exhaling back and down. So see, we're just really thinking about moving the spine with control and then knowing where our pelvis is in space. We'll go for one more right here. On the exhale, we roll it up. We hold at the base, we breathe in. And then we roll on that breath out. So there's a lot of things going on. We're breathing, we're moving, we're trying to understand where our body is in space. All of these components this is a mat exercise that we find on the mat, we bring into the reformer work. So that's why I like to start with this for people that are new to the equipment. And from here, let's go ahead and draw both legs up to what's called a tabletop. So you might have done this in mat Pilates before, but we're going to glue the heels together and glue the knees together. Now, let's check in with the pelvis. What happened when we drew those legs up? Did we over tuck? Are we trying to smash our body down into the mat, or are we remaining a bit neutral? So I want my knees over my pelvis. I want some connection between the knees, but I also want to have this neutral position. So I'm not smushing too much into my mat, keeping everything nice and neutral. From that position, here we go. We're going to go with the right foot first. I want to go ahead and inhale, tap my foot down. Exhale, draw in. So I want to make sure my pelvis stays really neutral. It's an inhale and exhale. So when we're on the equipment and we're doing different things with the straps or the bar, the spring tension, we still want to be aware of where our pelvis is in space. Inhaling down, exhaling back. When you apply resistance to certain movements, things can get a little bit confusing. So we want to make sure we get this in our body before we move forward in our beginner reformer series. Inhale to exhale, and inhale to exhale, keeping the pelvis neutral. We inhale to exhale and inhale to exhale. Let's go for two more today. Inhale to exhale and inhale to exhale. Very nice. So draw each leg back down. You can go ahead and connect back to the platform and just take a moment here. And again, you can come back to your hands placed on your pelvis and really just hardwire this position into your body, right? You've got this neutral position. Let's go ahead and do a couple of the rocks like we began. Tucking the pelvis, imprint the spine. Again, feel what that looks like for you. And then releasing that, arcing here. Notice the difference. So just do a couple of those to really see and feel, hey, where am I in space? So I can apply that into my reformer series today. We'll do one more together. And then back to the neutral. Nice work. Okay, let's go ahead and set up for our footwork here. Nice work. Okay, let's go ahead and set up. Nice work. Let's go ahead and come up to the side. We'll set up for our reformer series. Come on up. Let's go ahead and bring our bar up to normal height. Now, when we're talking about spring tension for beginners for the footwork, we have some options. I'm on a Balanced Body Reformer. Traditionally, you want 3 red, a blue, and a yellow. But again, if you want to make that a little bit heavier, you have the option with that little button extension at the top. There's a second row that you can place the springs. Today, I'm going to go with 3 red, a blue, and a yellow. My bar is in the correct position. You have the option to bring up your headrest. So you can go ahead and do that for yourself. All you need from here is to come down to your back. Let's lay down, bring our feet on the foot bar. So with the footwork series, what we want to really ingrain in our body is, again, the pelvic position, the breathing, right? The lateral breathing going out, the rhythm connected to the movement of our legs with our breath, and then also the alignment. So for your perspective, you can't see what your feet are doing, right? You're looking at the ceiling. One trick I like to do is basically look up. I want my feet, my heels in line with my knees, hip distance apart. And for the first position, it's heels on. So we're going to pull the toes towards our shins. I want my arms by my side. I inhale, prepare. I exhale, push out. Inhale, back in. Exhale, push. So as you're going here, what we're thinking of is, again, pelvic position stays neutral. The lateral breathing through the rib cage. And just thinking of our center. You're moving with the legs. You're trying to separate the legs from the trunk. And you're keeping the alignment. Typically, we go for 10 repetitions for beginner series. We have 3 more. It's an exhale, full lengthen the legs. Try not to lock the knees, just standing tall. We have 1 more together. And gently back in. Very nice. So that's the heel position. The next one for today, we're going to come to the toe box. Now, this is tricky for beginners because they tend to be on top of the bar and they might even kind of move their foot a little bit and slip. So I want you to be on the inside of the bar with your feet. Then from there, you can take a peek. You are at your parallel stance. The ankle is not super high and it's not completely low. It's right in the middle. So what we want to think about is the muscles around the ankle, supporting the position that we're in. Let's go ahead and exhale, push all the way out. Inhale, back in. Exhale. Inhale. You can always bring your hands to your ribs as well and come back to your breathing. Inhale. Inhale. And just really thinking of this meditative quality of Pilates already. We have resistance. We're doing a leg exercise. We're working the ankles and the alignment. But we're also using our breath. It's an exhale. It's an inhale. We have 4. In. 3. In. 2. In. And 1. And make your way in. Pause here. I'm going to have you keep the same foot position. Take a deep breath in through the nose. And then releasing all the air. Good. From here, we're going to go into calf raises. So for beginners, the point is that you don't want to push your ankle under the bar too much. You don't want to force anything. You want to feel like a good stretch and that your toe box is happy on the placement of the bar. As we push out, let's go ahead and keep a neutral ankle. We're going to push all the way along here. And I want you to gently, with the knees not locked, lower the ankles under the bar. Feel the calf stretching. And then gently lift them back up. Now, as you do this, you are also exhaling to lift, inhaling to lower. So you're attaching that breath pattern to what you're doing. Keep going. And again, your pelvis is neutral. Always checking in with that. Getting a lot of good circulation through the bottoms of the feet right here, through the back of the calves. We have 4 more. And you're trying to push through the center toe. And 2. And 1. We're going to bend the knees back in and just take a moment from where you are. So in Pilates, for the footwork, there's different variations. There's a whole series you can do. But those 3 movements are a good place to begin. Just those 3. All right, you guys, what we're going to do now is just very gently come on off to the side, and we'll get ready for the next exercise. We're going to remove some springs. Let's go ahead and take all springs except 1 red off. And we're going to come back to our back. And just organize your body so that you're, again, in this neutral pelvic position. You have some space from your shoulder blocks. So you can wiggle down slightly and your feet are resting on the bar. We're going to go over a little bit of supine series for the core work today. So grab your straps. You want to make sure your reformer might come with small and long straps. You want to make sure that you grab the small loops. And the small loops are just going to be within the long ones, pulling the arms slightly forward. So notice what I just did. I pulled those cords just over my shoulders. Now what that does, it starts to engage like my armpit area, my lats. I'm holding that position. Now from here, I want to maintain my arms nice and long. Shoulders connected to the mat. Here comes that tabletop we did earlier. So legs are together. I have a neutral pelvis. And as I inhale here, I keep tension on my straps. My exhale, I think of all the air out. I push the arms forward. So there's a resistance in the tabletop. Inhale, rise. Just to the point, you don't have to touch those shoulder blocks. Exhale, push down. So today is all about really getting the basics in your body. Can we squeeze the knees, maintain the neutral pelvis? We're moving with the breath. Inhale to rise. Exhale to push down. A lot of Pilates, when you're practicing on your own, you're not quite sure of your form. So I'm trying to give you guys more of this cueing that you can feel in your own body. And another good cue for this series right here is just keeping those knees squeezing and my arms physically reaching. So I want to almost reach for my foot bar, keeping the fingertips long. And that's really going to help me stay more connected to my arms. You're still laterally breathing. Inhale up. Big exhale through the ribs. Good. Last 3. Last 2. And then your last one right here. We're just going to exhale all the air, lengthen through the arms, and then very gently draw the arms back to your start position. Place each foot back on the bar and just take a moment here. So that is arms pushing down, also called extension. And that's really just feeling more of the abdominals as your arms complete a movement. From that position, we're now going to go out to a letter T. So this one, I want you to stay away from the shoulder block. It's actually just south of a letter T, slightly forward. Okay, and then we'll be opening and closing. Let's draw the arms up to begin. And the legs as well, tabletop, neutral pelvis. We're going to start our series pushing down again with the arms, palms face in. As I inhale, I keep my neutral pelvis, arms to letter T. I really use my armpits. I push down and reach for the foot bar. I inhale, open. I exhale, pull in. I inhale, open. And notice it's abdominal work because you're bracing around the spine with the abs. It's a little bit different than just an average crunch. Exhaling and inhaling, keeping the pelvic position, the knee position. Exhale and inhale. We have 5 more. Exhale, you're doing great. Reach for that foot bar, stay out of your neck. Squeeze your armpits. Exhale. 2, inhale. And 3. And inhale, last 2. It's an exhale. 2, inhale. 1 more right here. It's an exhale. And then inhale. Go ahead and bring the arms back up. Transfer the feet back to the bar. Take a moment here and deep breath in. So that's the second movement for this supine arm series. Again, still using the abdominals, but a little bit differently. So now what we're going to do is do triceps. So let's go ahead and draw the legs back up to that tabletop position. We're going to push through the arms all the way to the foot bar. Now remember, stand into those straps. Get those arms nice and long. Elbows stay connected to the bed. We're going to be bending here at the elbow and then push straight. Notice it's your tricep. Inhale. Exhale, 2. Inhale. Exhale, 3. Inhale. Exhale, 4. Keep that pelvic position. Don't let those legs drift away. We have 5 more. It's a push. And 4. Here we go. It's 3. And 2. And your last one right here. Let's go ahead and gently draw the arms up. Release the feet down one at a time. We're going to come all the way back in and place our straps back where they live. Wonderful job. Okay, let's go ahead and gently come off to the side. And what I want to take you through next is a little bit of stretching. So we already have 1 red spring, which is plenty. We're going to be going over our lunge position here. So facing forward, hands are on the bar. My foot here is just in line with my foot bar, so it's not too far back. I'm going to go ahead and hold my bar, and this is where the pelvic position really does come into play for standing. If I take my hips and I just lightly tuck forward in my lunge, I'm going to feel more stretch. So let's do that. Tuck forward. Now, as the bed moves behind you, we've got that front knee bending right here. Hold the position. And what I want you to think about today is, can you connect to this rear glute? Can you squeeze the rear glute and hold the pelvic position versus you're just pushing back and hanging out? Because I know that's very tempting for a lot of people. Tuck right here. Squeeze the bum. Hold what you have. Breathing in through the nose, expanding through the ribs, and a full exhale. Do that again. We inhale and exhale. Let's come back in. We'll set up the same way. We're going to be pushing back, holding that position. Remember, you're tucking the pelvis. Breathing in here, light on the arms, and exhale. Again, we inhale and exhale. 1 more breath. And gently in. It feels really good. Let's go ahead and migrate to the other side. You're going to dismount by bringing your foot off to the side here. And we're going to come around and place our knee on top. So now we get to really think about the pelvic position, what we're stretching, what we're aiming for, and then our alignment, right? There's a lot of that in Pilates Reformer classes. So let's go ahead and tuck our tail, gently push back, squeeze, and hold it. Breathing here. Again, you're light on your hands. Feeling that nice big stretch. Gently coming back and in. And again, we're pushing back. Holding the position, giving ourselves a little bit more of that tuck of pelvis. One side might be different than the other. Breathing in here. Gently back. Nice. Okay, one more time for this side. Come back and in. All right, you guys. So the next thing I want you to do is place your bar completely flat. We're going to practice hinging and a little bit of planking. And this is important because we want to make sure that we can really keep the tuck of the pelvis for this next part. You're going to see a lot of these shapes in the Pilates Reformer classes. If you're doing anything online, especially by yourself with a reformer, you want to look for a couple of key things in these shapes. So I'm going to go over that with you right now. Let's make sure we have the red spring that we have on, and our hands are placed right underneath our shoulders, and our feet are up against our shoulder block. So technically a 4-point position. What we want to create is a tuck in our pelvis. Now that means that we don't dump into the shoulders or the spine. We're doing the opposite. We're really using our arms to push into that platform, and we're keeping the abdominals tucked. So I don't want you to over squeeze the glutes, but basically starting from the 4-point, an easy way to do it is push through the arms, okay? Then push through the knees. Now, to correct my spine and my pelvis, I tuck slightly forward. Okay, that's the last part. Now I'm in the correct position. I'm going to push back a couple inches as I inhale. I'm going to exhale and pull my body back in, so it's very small movement. Inhaling and exhaling. Now the key is that we don't lose the spine. When people push back, they often just kind of drape down with the body. We want to make sure we keep the pelvic position. It's an inhale back. It's an exhale forward. It's an inhale back. It's an exhale forward. Okay, and just move really slow. This is really getting your body to work as one piece. And you're trying to really keep that pelvic position as you go. It's an inhale. It's an exhale. Push through those arms. Give me one more right here. And gently back and in. So let's just take a breather for a moment here. We can relax through the wrists, especially if you're a beginner. That is a little bit of tension on the wrist area. So what you can do is take one hand forward, gently reach the arm long, pulling through the back of the hand, and then very gently pulling the fingers the other direction with the palm up, and then this side. So a couple of positions here with the shoulders in that plank, really supporting us, as well as the hip position as well. Let's do one more round. We'll do 6 repetitions together. Let's go ahead and from the 4-point, we push through the arms first, then we push the bed, then we tuck the hips. And now we're ready. It's an inhale back. It's an exhale forward. It's an inhale back. It's an exhale forward. And you have a lot of spring right here underneath your body. So there's a lot of support system going on. But just really being mindful of where you are in space. Keep going. It's an inhale back, a couple of inches. Feel the abdominals brace you. Keep the pelvic tuck. And inhale. And exhale. Nice. Go ahead and release what you have. Excellent. Bring the bed all the way in carefully. And then we'll go ahead and take a step off to the side. Let's bring our foot bar back up. We're going to go through Mermaid. So let's keep the same red spring on is fine. For the Mermaid position, we really want to find some breathing through the side of the ribs that are open towards the ceiling. It's a great way to feel a nice lateral stretch through our spine. Our pelvis is still going to remain neutral. So we don't want to think about lifting up on one side, hiking the hip. We want to keep things grounded as we go through this series. Let's go ahead and bring our hand to the center of the bar, other hand here reaching for the headrest. As you inhale, take a long inhale, reach, 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 stay connected. And then your exhale, you're going to come all the way back in. So this is a good opportunity to think of your head in line with your spine. I often see students in the beginning drop their head down here, twist their head to the ceiling. I want you to think about your head as connected to your spine and your chin's pushing back. So you're almost like you're moving between 2 planes of glass right here. We're inhaling up. laterally, and then gently exhaling back in. We'll go for 2 more on the same side. It's an inhale, reaching the arm. Exhale. Let's do 1 more. It's an inhale. And then an exhale. Very nice. To change directions, what you can do is basically pivot your body like this. And we're going to go ahead and make sure that our hands in the middle of the bar, other arm is here. It's an inhale, again, head with the spine. 2, exhale. Now think of the ribs. Remember, you're inhaling with that lateral breath from earlier. Reaching the arm. And exhale. And again, inhale. And exhale. And reaching actively with that hand. And back. We've got 1 more right here. It's an inhale. And then finally an exhale. Very nice. Okay. So let's do this. We're going to spin around here, and I want you to add a blue. So we have a red and a blue. And just so you guys know, with the spring setting, the red is just a full spring. The blue is a half a spring, so it's technically 1.5. We're going to leave our headrest the way it is. We're going to come on down to our back. And now we're placing those loops we had earlier on our feet. So if you're new to Pilates, it's a little bit tricky. I'm going to show you how to get into them safely. We're going to push through the feet first, so we lengthen. We're going to grab the loops, and now we have some slack. I'm going to take one, I'm going to reach it over my foot. I'm going to take the other one, I'm going to hold the cord and place it over my foot. So it takes a little bit of practice, but once we're in the beginning part here, we've got them now placed on the arches of the feet, nice and even. We can have our shoulders next to the shoulder blocks and head centered. Arms by the side. I have my heels together. My knees are apart. So this is called frog. We're going to start in some frog presses. My knees are about the width of my shoulders themselves. My heels push. Now watch where my legs go. They don't go really low. They go on an upward angle. Squeeze the inner thighs. Inhale back in. Let's go again. Exhale. Inhale in. So what I want to think about is that I don't have any movement free out here, uncontrolled. I've got my heels together. There's a lot of this zipping through the inner thighs as I keep my pelvis neutral. And pushing out. And inhale. And pushing out. And inhale. It's an exhale to press, standing tall through those cords. Notice my feet are flexed, my toes are facing out. And we got 1 more right here. We're going to hold it all the way out. Now, what we're going to do are leg openings, which means the pelvis is going to be challenged a lot right here. Bring your hands on your hips. That's a good way just for you guys to monitor what's going on. Very gently reach the legs out to a soft straddle that feels good for you. And then as you pull back, you're going on that same line and connect the heels. So try not to let your legs kind of bob up and down. We're just going imaginary lines straight out to side. Exhale, pull back in. And here we go. It's 3. And in. And 4. Inhale. And in. And 5. Inhale. And in. And inhale. And in. Let's go for 2 more right here. It's inhaling. 2. Exhale. 1 more. Inhale. And finally exhaling. Good. Now I know that's a lot of work for some of you in the inner thigh, so please come back to this bent knee position. Take a moment here. And that is going to really get stronger over time. So the point is, can you control your pelvis, right? In all of these different orientations, which you're learning in today's class. Good. Now we're going to go into leg circles. I don't want you to draw huge leg circles. I want you to control the pelvis again. Push out through the frog. Lift up towards your 90. You're going to find a position that you can keep your pelvis really down versus up like this, okay? So I want your tail down. It could be close to 90. Then from there, open out, push down, close the heels, lift up through center, okay? So your circle, it's like you're drawing two separate letter Ds. You're thinking of the leg bones, drawing the circle, inhaling up, exhale, open, push, inhaling up, exhale, open, push. We have 5 more in that direction. And 4. And 3. Soft knees. You don't want to lock out your knees. Here's 2. And we have 1 more right here. Good. Now rewind it, pushing down, opening up, back to the top. Exhale, opening up, back to the top. 3, all the way around. 4, and around. Remember, it comes from the hips here. We don't want to really feel like we're straining anything from the back. You can make your circles smaller. We have 4 more. 3, 2, and then your last circle around. Very nice. Let's bend our knees in. Carefully remove one at a time. You're going to find the foot bar with that free foot, and then gently come all the way back and in. Nice. Bring those straps back where they live. And we're going to add the final piece for today's workout. Let's come on off to the side. Again, we need to bring down our foot bar. And I'm going to have you stay on a blue spring, so please remove the red. We're going to be adding our box. The box is a great prop. If you guys don't own the box, I do suggest getting it because it does give you many more movement opportunities. Now we're going to focus on back extension. So when we're laying on our torso in this orientation, we want to notice our pelvis is not up like this. It's actually gently pushing into the box surface, which is going to keep us actually more at a neutral position. Even though you can't see it, you're going to be feeling it. Bring your hands to the corners, laying flat here. I've got my bra line just slightly off the end, so I have some room. And next what I'd like to do is grab my straps. So when we're pulling our straps for today's exercise, we want to pull on the outside of the reformer. We're going to hold the small loops in the hands. Now I'm going to have to probably choke up a little bit because of my loop length. So I'm going to come up to the kind of top area. It does matter, so make sure you have some tension. I'm going to push my hips gently into the box, squeeze my legs together, reach my arms. Now this one's a different breath pattern. I'm going to gently inhale, reach my arms to my hips. I'm going to lift my spine while keeping my head looking down. I exhale back and I lower. So the arms go by the sides as you inhale, and then you exhale, come back. It's an inhale. It's an exhale. It's an inhale. It's an exhale. Notice the pelvis stays grounded. We're not feeling this in the low spine. We're squeezing the glute muscles. We should be feeling the lats, the armpits, the triceps, and the upper back muscles here. So more of our postural group. It's an inhale. It's an exhale. It's an inhale. It's an exhale. Go for 2 more. And back. Do 1 more. And pause. So place your hands on the panels for a moment. If you need to kind of rock your tail side to side, that's okay. Point and flex your feet. Now from here, we're going to go into more tricep extensions. I'm going to keep my back extension throughout and just focus on bending and extending my elbow. So here I go. I'm going to start with my elbows by the side. Roll my shoulders open, pin my elbows right at my ribs. Tailbone is tucked, head is slightly elevated, and I'm pushing back as I exhale. A little different. Inhale, bend. Exhale. Inhale. Feeling those triceps, feeling those arms. And 4. And in. And 5. And in. Keep going. Squeezing your tail, keeping the extension of your upper back like you're hovering through that heart center. We have 4 more. And we have 3. And 2. You have 1 more right here. Woo, good job. Nice work. You're going to slowly come in, place your straps back where they live. Use your hands on the box to bring one leg to the side and come on up to standing. Great job on your first workout of your Reformer series. So today, again, we learned about the pelvic position, how important that is in different shapes to be aware of where we are. We learned a little bit more about the breathing and just how to coordinate the breath to the movement itself with the Reformer work. Great job. I'll see you back here for your next Reformer workout in your beginner series.